Welcome to the Sex Worker's Guide to the Galaxy podcast, where the answer to life, the universe, and everything are sex workers. I am your host, Parker Westwood, and I'm really grateful to be doing this podcast. This is the first episode. My voice just cracked. This is the first episode, and I am really excited to get to introduce you all to someone I met for the first time because of this podcast. Kathryn Morgan. Domina Kat Morgan is a Detroit-based Pro Domme and an incredible storyteller, as you will learn shortly. We explore the ins and outs of what it is to be a Pro Domme and learn a lot about Kat Morgan in the process and what it's been like through COVID, what her life has been like battling cancer in recent past, and how she got started. So without further ado, I'm going to let Kat take it away. This is our interview. Thanks for listening.
Hey.
Hey, Kat, how are you?
Good. How are you? So nice to finally meet finally.
Oh my gosh, I know. I feel like we've been dancing around each other for a long time.
All right. So this is the first ever for me.
Cool, me too.
Oh, okay. Well,
this
good.
is my first interview for the podcast, admittedly. So
I get to be your first.
Yeah.
Well, I'm flattered.
Cool. I'm flattered you wanted to be on the show. I was like, I didn't ask anyone I know in person right away. I was just kind of like, I want to do a show where it's someone I don't know, because then I'm asking questions more authentically, because I don't know anything about your life.
Correct.
So I think it's like a good litmus test almost. I'm excited, and I have like little butterflies. I'm really excited to be able to talk to you.
Well, I'm a little nervous. I had all the questions at my play space, and like I wrote answers down so I would have my thoughts.
Why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners? Like, who are you and what kind of sex work do you do now?
Okay. So I am Domina Kat Morgan. I am a pro dominatrix. I've been doing it professionally for 7 years. A true pro dom. Many people say they are a pro dom, but a true pro dom never is nude and does not have sex or intercourse. She may wear a harness and use a strap on, but subs do not touch me or touch a true pro dom. That is not part of it. And most times they don't even get any type of release.
Interesting. It's more fun that way,
right?
To be honest. And how did you get started in the industry? And then we'll get into more of the dom stuff. But how did you get started in the sex work industry?
So 8 years ago, I lost my corporate job. I was used to making close to $200,000 and I have no degree. And I lost my job, and the economy was crappy and I couldn't find another job making the same kind of money. And I had some medical issues with huge medical bills. So I was working 3 jobs, nothing was working. And I started online camming. And I was truly a nerd.
Yes.
Conservative, navy business suit with my hair in a bun to work every day. And then the first time I went online as a cam girl, I was horrified. I was scared. I was terrified. But it opened my eyes to really who I am. And people online said, oh, I should be a pro dom. I shouldn't do the normal stuff that cam girls do. And I said, I didn't understand. Well, there was a online fan who took me in a private show and said, I am a master in another country. I would like to train you for free.
Wow.
Every couple of days, he would come on for an hour and he would sit and talk to me. And I asked why he would do this. And he said, you have the power, you just don't know. And I want to see men
Yes.
and know that men are at your feet and treating you like the queen that you should be treated.
Oh my God, I love that.
And to this day, him and I have never met. It's been 8 years. He is my best friend, yet we have not met in person ever.
That's
He buys almost
incredible.
all my boots, all my latex, my high end clothing. He's now my emotional support, almost like my therapist. If I'm stuck on how to get somebody to the next level, I brainstorm with him. But now for him, it's the reward of my hard work by listening to him and building my so called empire.
That's amazing. So he functions as like this mentor and has
Yes,
helped you build what you have now.
right. And initially, I would like text him and say, I don't know what to do. This is what's happening, or this is what I have coming up, and I don't know what to do. Now he says he can't get as freaky as I am because I've gone to other levels that surpass his.
Amazing.
So he is not into like knife play and other things in that nature or electricity. Um, his level is more of the mind. So he's helped me with the mind fuck in all of
Yes.
this because it is the mind. And then I share, or sometimes if I question myself after I do a session, he helps me understand that it's okay because I'm providing a service.
It sounds like an incredibly special relationship to have with someone.
It is.
Yeah. So
It's weird.
you,
We love each other, but we're not in the same place.
right. And so you had never really had a foray into the BDSM community. You,
None whatsoever. I was
wow.
always told my whole life I was bossy. Had to have everything my way. My parents are from Europe. I don't know that they understood. And they say the best DOMs are trained by a Marine Corps drill sergeant.
That checks out. Wow.
Um, that I have that in my life. And I tell everybody I did 17 years in the military, so to speak. So often I think of my childhood when I'm providing discipline.
Yeah. Important.
Yeah.
That is really cool. So so you started camming
Mm-hmm.
8 years ago. And how long were you like how long did you continue to cam before you moved into pro doming?
Well, during the cam time, I had several people that told me I should do this in real life. And somebody gave me a name of somebody who would help build me a website and teach me how to screen, but I was afraid. And I worked 25 hours a week doing cam stuff, and I made $45,000 in the first year.
Wow.
And I thought that was pretty good money
Yeah.
for 25 hours. When I calculated and I won't mention the name of the company, what they made 4 times what I made.
Mm.
During the time I was camming my online world, they helped me create my first dungeon. The contractors taught me how to build a wall and put studs in my basement and hang things. So they would pay to do a show, but they would teach me. And then when I realized that when I got my first 1099, how much money the company made, I felt I was cheated. So
Hmm.
then I reached out to this company to help educate me to be safe and teach me how to do things. And the cam world wouldn't negotiate, my commission renegotiate. So after 3 months, when I was doing both worlds, I stopped the other world because this was way more lucrative and I could control my destiny a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty remarkable how often um, sex workers are taken advantage of in on platforms like that. But also, I come from stripping, so like even at strip clubs,
Yep,
the amount that we're cheated out of at every level is pretty wild.
it is.
So you went straight into pro doming, and after camming for only 3 months? Was it 3 months of
I
camming?
cammed for a year and
Okay.
then I launched this side of my world. Online, I was Roxy. Um,
That very nice.
right, right. But I didn't think that was a good mistress name.
Hmm.
Um, and so then I needed to invent a new persona. So I cammed for about 3 months while I built this industry. And
Very
now
cool.
I control my world, my life, when I want to work. I have a company name. I pay people to help me do things. It is a business. And if anybody says it's not, it is.
Yeah.
Because
It
I pay taxes. I do everything that a real business owner would.
absolutely. Hire people. You
Yep.
have expense reports, all the things.
Yes. Right. If somebody would do that for me, that's my weakness.
Oh my God, I know. I love spreadsheets, but whenever I have to think about money, I'm just kind of like, someone else do it. Um, yeah, I'm still stunned that you didn't really get into the BDSM community before becoming a pro dom. So that's really, really cool. When people were
I,
like, "Hey, you should be doing pro dom work," what was your first impression
I
of the
didn't
work itself? Sorry.
I didn't understand 100%. Most people think when you go to see a dominatrix, it's especially people that don't know, they automatically think they're going to get beaten. And I explained to them, just because I'm a dominatrix doesn't mean I'm going to beat you. A good pro dom, a great one, because I know I'm a great one.
Yes.
A great pro dom gives you what you want, but she serves it how she wants to serve it.
Can you just
A
repeat that one more time?
A good pro dom gives you exactly what you want, but she serves it how she wants to serve it. A bad
Hmm.
pro dom gives you what she wants. So example is, and I have a 98% return rate. I actually track who comes back. There is a dom in Michigan that has never had a repeat client, yet she touts she's the best. I'm like, well, you can't be. The only reason I have openings is because of the COVID. So many of my people
Mm.
lost their jobs or their spouse lost their jobs. So I didn't have an opening to take anybody new for almost 18 months. So my new people are thrilled that my former subs lost their jobs, and my former subs that are in a different financial position are terrified I won't have a spot for them when they come back. I'm like, well,
Yeah,
if you were good, I'll have a spot for you. If you weren't.
I love that. Yes.
So, another just a little something. When I first got in, my first 2 years, I never, ever laughed. I was always stern and always strict
Wow.
and really severe no matter what I did. And one day I was doing a session with a sub that's 6'8". And I really don't remember what happened. But I busted into a fit of giggles to the point I was laying on the floor with tears streaming down my face, not looking very Dom like. Couldn't control myself whatsoever. And he looked horrified. And I said, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to end the session and give you your money back because this was so unprofessional. And he said, you have the scariest laugh. You laugh like a witch. You should always laugh because at my size, the hair on my neck stood up.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
I said, nobody's ever told me that I laugh like a witch. And he goes, you did, you do, and you're scary. So now I laugh and everybody tells me that. So I guess I could have been the wicked witch of in the Oz.
That makes me so happy.
So now if I want to laugh, I laugh.
Yes. And I
Simple as
think
that.
that's an important part of this work too, is I felt like I had to have such a strict persona for so long, or like be in, like, quote unquote, in character. And the more I've allowed myself, like my authentic self, to show up in a session, the more fun it is for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I love hearing that.
So A lot of, and this is a big thing out there too. So I just want to touch on this. When I said
Please.
a true pro dom gives you what you want, but she serves it. So an example would be, because I learned this, I always ask when somebody says, oh, I went to somebody else and this is, and I always like, well, why did you leave? You know, what is it that they did? So I can learn from that person's mistake.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will say, subs, oh, I'll do anything. That is not true. Most people will not do anything. And I always tell people, be really careful. I am a kind person. I can be severe. I can cut you with a knife. I can shock you to all hell, but I truly care about human beings. So a sub that came to me said he was not into forced buy or gangbangs.
Right.
And he told his mistress that he would do anything. Once she had him tied up, he was abused in a very, he was in essence raped. He never went back. He didn't see a professional dom for years because he was terrified, as he should be.
Yeah.
So I tell people, be really careful. Everybody's required to do homework before they see me. I need to know what's inside their head. I study the medical aspect, the fetish aspect, and the psychological aspect. We go over medical each and every time because I don't want anybody to die on my dime. If somebody's ankles are swollen, I'll know that maybe they didn't take their heart meds, so they can't see me.
Yeah.
I can't take that risk. So it's important. I tell people, do not say I will do anything.
Yeah. That's that part of like honesty and communication that we talked about earlier. It is so key. And so many people want to please. And so they, especially subs, right? So they feel like they have to say, I'll do anything. And it's like, how about be honest? Like, how about that part?
Right. So I tell people, if you don't do your homework, you just don't see me. Because based on your homework, it allows me to ask some more questions. And the homework is in several parts. It allows me, well, there's two things. It allows me to understand them, but it also builds the foundation of, they will think of me all the time. You will crave me. I tell them, you will crave me when you leave. When you're banging somebody else, you're going to think of me. When you're at work and you're having a hard time, you're going to think of me. I will consume your thoughts, and I'm fully aware of it, and that's okay. That's why you book a session to fulfill that need.
I love that. I mean, that's what we strive for.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I know I veered you off on your questions. I'm sorry.
No, that's the entire point of this. That's why I only plan like 6 or 7 questions, because I know how I am. I'm a Libra and an air sign, so I'm all over the place. Yeah, that's so if one of my questions was like, how long have you been in the BDSM community? And it's just like, talk about that. One I would love to talk, or I would love you to walk us through is like an average day of work for you. Like, what does that look like?
So I don't do anything really late at night. My personal choice. I feel that the people that want a session at midnight, they may have other motives or ulterior motives, and my safety is always first and foremost. So my day starts at 5 a.m. because I am a morning person. People think I'm crazy, but some people are a night person.
Bless your heart.
I put on my workout clothes because I have my coffee and I start returning my emails and I start posting on Twitter. But at 5'2", even though people say by my pictures I look substantially taller, I'm only 5'2", and I'm like a size 2. I need to be able to maneuver people that are 6'8", because I actually have, my largest client is 6'9", and I have 5 at 6'8". So when I'm roping or tugging or pulling, I need to be able to make sure that my core is good, my back is strong enough, my legs are strong enough. So then I work out first thing in the morning, because otherwise I won't do it. I hate working out.
Same.
So I do my Netflix and I work out. I permit myself, because I'm like crazy routine, almost like military style. Like, okay, I get to Netflix because I'm working out. If I don't work out, you don't get Netflix. So if I'm in the middle of a
Smart.
series and it's like, you just don't get it.
I love that. That's so smart. That's like mind fucking yourself into working
Right.
out. I love that.
Right. And then if it's like a hour and 50-minute show or a 2-hour movie, you actually get a longer workout.
I might steal this from you. This is
You
brilliant.
may. You may. I might text you and say, what are you Netflixing?
What are you watching? Yes.
Right. Then I usually have my first appointment by 10 a.m. I don't do quantity, I do quality.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody does a session, when a sub does a session, it takes 48 hours for them to truly process a session. It also takes me time, and I never used to give myself that time, because I might do 2 sessions in a day, and I might do a 6-hour, and then the next day 2 hours, and then an hour one, that I was burning myself out and didn't realize it until the COVID hit. So the good thing that came out of COVID was I realized, God, I never get a break. So when I set up for a session, about a half hour for a session, I review, always the morning of during coffee, I review their homework so that I've really got their homework embedded in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I usually set up while I'm having my coffee, because by touching each toy, each piece of equipment, it helps me go into the headspace I need to go into. And every session is different. If it's cross-dressing, that I don't have to go deep. If somebody is a true masochist,
Mm-hmm.
I can't talk to anybody for several hours beforehand, because I have to take myself to a really dark place for me to beat them to give them what they want.
Yeah.
If it's whipping them till they're bleeding, if it's cutting them with a knife, if it's running needles through their body, if it's a combination of all of those things at one time. Sometimes people say, do you get turned on? I'm like, no, when I'm touching you, because often my hand will caress their body, I'm actually checking their pulse, checking their breathing, making sure their heart's okay, and we're not racing out of control, because I don't want somebody to die. Because I have people that will do electricity, needles, knife play, and other stuff all at one time. So if you're putting 4 or 5 things into the mix, my goal is to still give them what they want, but not to harm them.
Absolutely. It's I don't think a lot of people get how much focus that takes.
Right. And then after a session, because I'm OCD and people should be ever so grateful that everything is.
Yes.
Some people are like, you wear so many gloves. I'm like, do you want disease?
Right.
But every toy that I touched has to be sanitized, every piece of equipment. And now, because of the COVID, when they leave, I wash the bathroom walls, every light fixture, every door. I spray all the furniture, the dungeon furniture. I go through. It takes me a couple hours to really do everything good. And then I need to shower, and then I need to decompress before I can do another one. So
Absolutely.
now if I do more than one in a day, they have to be spaced out.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much more that we have to think about now that COVID is a factor.
Correct.
Yeah. What is if you don't mind me asking, because I know like our decompression routines and all that stuff is a bit personal, but like what does it look like for you to decompress?
I usually put on my workout clothes, and depending on the weather, but there's days where it's storming and I just grab a coat and I will walk in the rain. I need music. Music.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't have music, I can't. But it's usually something physical. It might be a bicycle ride. It might be a walk. It might be a little bit with weights. It could be the punching bag. Not normally running, but I might power walk. My power walk is probably most people's jog.
Very nice.
But I have to do something physical to like let it go. I have one person that books a very extended, and it's usually a 14-hour session, and he's a masochist. When I get done with him, once I sanitize and clean, I pretty much need 3 to 4 hours just to sleep, because I'm mentally and physically completely wiped.
Yeah,
from the
14 hours is a long time to do any kind of work.
right,
Not
right.
to mention like emotional, like deep dive, dark masochistic work.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct. It's
that's
again,
impressive.
right. So a lot of people don't understand, and most of the time, I never slip really, really deep into headspace unless I'm doing a really long session. But
Mm-hmm.
I have to draw on my demons, very dark demons, in order to provide what they need. As weird as that sounds,
No,
but
that's,
everybody's got to get it how they need to get to where they need to go.
yeah, that makes so much sense. And then needing to differentiate yourself from your demons afterwards
Correct.
makes a lot of sense.
It's like you open a little box, you let them come out to play, then you shove them all back in there and you close the door and you move on. And then I have to, often I do like, I call it normal people things. Before I
Yes.
crash, I might have to go walk around Lowe's or Meyer and I have to interact at a very vanilla level.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little tiny restaurant, a little diner that I used to go to all the time if I did something really intense. And I would sit at the counter and just talk to people there because it allowed me to reconnect until I was ready to crash physically. And then I'd go to sleep. Then I'd be like, okay, I'm good. I got to go now. I used to do, I was told I was good when I did pain. And
Mm-hmm.
then one day I had what I deemed as terrible news medically. And I
Mm-hmm.
was really upset and I wanted to cancel my session. And I thought, well, if I was in corporate America, I wouldn't cancel. I'd still have to go to work. So when I did the session, without really putting a lot of thought into it, I took the anger, like I took everything I felt for that phone call and I put it into my whip.
Mm-hmm.
Probably isn't really good. But when I got done, my sub said, wherever you're at in your head today is where you always need to be. Today you are superior. Draw
Wow.
on that demon. And I thought, oh, that's crazy. And then I did another session the next day, but I was still feeling from the news I received, still anger and whiny. And I
Mm-hmm.
directed, and he said the same thing. So, as terrible as it sounds, if I have somebody that is really looking for an incredible amount of pain, I draw on that phone call. I put myself right where I was.
Mm-hmm.
I keep it right at the top. I do my session and then I let it go.
That sounds incredibly therapeutic. Like, I mean, on both parts, but I mean, for you specifically, like to be able to, I mean, for me at least, like as a like femme identified person in this world,
Mm-hmm.
um, we've been socialized to not really express our anger.
Correct.
So that sounds liberating as all hell to me.
Well, I didn't know that I should say this one. So I got into knife play, and I know that my sub will listen to this when it airs.
Hmm.
He
If they're a
asked me,
good sub.
yeah. In the beginning of COVID, he said, if you could do anything to anybody, give me 5 things. I hadn't really thought about like hurting anybody or doing anything. He goes, everybody has stress, so just write 5 things. So I was kind of being a jerk. And I said, oh, if I could like waterboard somebody, because I haven't done that in a while, I would. If I could put somebody in a chair, gag them and pull their teeth, I would. If I could take a knife and carve their body with my name, that'd be awesome. And I don't really remember what the other two were, but it was all kind of as a joke.
Yeah.
So he responds with, you can't waterbore me and you can't pull my teeth, but I have purchased you a beautiful new knife. I would like to do knife play. And when he said that, I thought, I don't think I could ever cut anybody realistically. And sometimes in anger, I may have said, like, well, I'll cut you, I'll cut you.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I've never really cut anybody. Like, I've never hurt anybody with a knife.
Hmm.
So he brought me and gifted me this beautiful knife. And the first time I looked at it, I thought, oh, there's just no way I could cut him. So we kind of geared it toward, and he said, use it whenever you feel you're ready. He was blindfolded, he was tied down, and I was sitting on the bondage table. And I will not lie, I was terrified, but we had already played for probably 12 hours. And I started running the knife, but I didn't see any blood. And I was just carving my initials on his chest. And he said, press harder. So I did. And then I seen the blood and I seen the DKM come across his chest. It dropped me into a headspace that I never experienced. And I started an overwhelming crying. Like I couldn't, tears were just falling on his body. So I got off the table, wiped my face, unstrapped him, wiped off his chest. But for him too, it was powerful.
Yeah.
And he said, why did you cry? And I said, because I just realized if I had to, I could cut somebody. I've always threatened, but I didn't know if I could. And now I know that if you are mean to me, I could be like, I'm going to cut you. And yeah, I'll probably enjoy it.
Oh my God.
But it was so powerful because it was the first time. And to see, like, I mean, how many people really walk around with a knife carving their initials other than in like weird shows on TV, maybe?
Right. For Hollywood.
Right.
But like in real life. Yeah.
Right. And now it's not as emotional for us, but we still do it. He visits me once a month and but it doesn't sink me there. But it was a realization that, I really like this. Does that?
Yeah.
And then that's where I called my mentor and I'm like, am I weird? It's like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I wish more people would let me cut them and pay me.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that was one of the moments where your mentor was like, I can't go with you there.
He's like, you're way further. I've never played with knives.
Yeah.
I don't. He said, but what you need now to do is book a spa day. So often he'll send me, like, PayPal me money. And he's like, you need to go to the spa, go get your nails done, go get your facial, go do something for you.
Yes.
Not for your family, not for your friends, but for you. And I usually do that. I go for a pedicure or a massage or a facial, but for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this man already. Like,
Right.
I'm just like, yes. Yeah, because self-care is key.
Yeah.
We can't keep showing up in the way that we want to if we don't refill our coffers.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's been my journey. I started light and I continued to grow, sometimes saying, well, I don't think I'll ever do that. And then the next thing you know, I have a new toy and I'm like, I'm like the knife. Oh, I'm going to do this.
Better learn how to use it. Yeah.
Right.
So cool.
Same with needles. I took some classes. I spent all the money on this beautiful needle kit, but then, my daughter actually let me practice on her.
Cool.
And then I was just afraid to stick people with them. And then once I did it the first time, it's like, okay, this is kind of fun. Actually, it's therapeutic, almost like yoga.
Yeah.
Or meditation.
It's amazing how nerve-wracking some of the stuff can be initially, and then you're just like, oh no, I can see this now. I get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, one more question and then we'll get into the rapid fire.
Okay.
What is something you wish more people would understand about sex work or being a pro dom in your case?
That I don't have sex with people.
Mm-hmm.
That truly. So I used to do senior care and that was rewarding. That was so rewarding because people came there and you changed their lives, but they came there to die.
Mm-hmm.
And that wrenched my heart day after day, people dying in my arms. So when I lost my job, I didn't want to do that. This is more rewarding because people share with me their darkest secrets. And I'm like their therapist. I've had more grown men cry because of the release of being able to be who they want to be or do what they want. And it truly strengthens, for the guys that their wives don't know, it strengthens their marriage. But some people come as couples, but it's truly therapeutic. And I don't, people that are not into it don't see it that way, but it truly is. And that the letters I have, and I don't know if you can see, there's a box behind me.
Yeah.
That is filled with just letters of gratitude.
To the brim. Yeah.
To the brim. And that, if I ever feel bad or question, I just start reading those, because they are powerful about how I've changed somebody's life. And that's what I love.
The stigma that comes with doing any kind of sex work will make anyone doubt, on a bad day in particular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we shouldn't be like that.
Mm-mm.
Whether you're a companion, whether you're a stripper, whether you're a cam girl, an OnlyFans person, it shouldn't matter. We're working.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's valued, obviously. Right.
Otherwise, they all wouldn't be out there.
100%. Yeah. We wouldn't have jobs.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
This is the part that scares me.
Well,
I got my whip.
You got your whip. I'm ready for that. Okay. So these are basically just like first thing that comes to your head. Just answer it that way. So the first one is, complete this sentence. Good sex is
kinky.
And what is your go-to comfort food?
Ooh, ice cream.
Very nice. Particular flavor?
Vanilla.
Yeah. Love it. What movie or TV show have you recently become obsessed with?
Schitt's Creek.
Yes.
That's hysterical. I just finished the last season.
Oh, that's amazing. We need something to make us laugh too during these times.
So I never ever watched TV, but something personal about me is I've gone through cancer for the last 2 years.
Wow.
So I've had a lot of time off with chemo, where I was not allowed to leave my home for 6 weeks, 6-week increments. Wow. So I had to learn how to watch TV, and I learned about Netflix because I never used to watch TV. So I did the Ozarks. Queen of the South, loved. It also had things to educate me and help me in my BDSM world, because they do painful things. Same with Ozark.
You love a little bit of research.
Right. Research and but Schitt's Creek was my most recent. Like, I just, they have another season and now it's gone. It's like, now what?
Right.
All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's perfect. I love it. And then favorite sex toy or prop?
Hitachi, the wand. Everybody should have a wand in their goodie bag. If you don't, I will get you one, and I will get you some attachments, because hands down, I will make sure that you have the time of your life, and I will teach you. When people say, well, are you happy? I'm like, the Hitachi, the wand. When my hair was long, I would dry my hair and use the wand and release endorphins, and dried my hair.
Oh, you are a multitasker. I like this about you. It's such a good one too. Everyone should have a Hitachi wand. If you were to win an all expenses paid trip away for a weekend anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I only get a weekend?
Yeah, in this you only get a weekend.
Oh,
in this particular situation.
Well, then you got to travel like all those hours you don't want to go far, because then you waste your fun time.
Or you get the weekend at the place. How about that? Australia.
I've always wanted to go, but have never gone.
That sounds wonderful.
It's for the Aussie accent, though I'm afraid of what I might do. Like, just close my eyes and say, hey. It's the accent.
So sexy.
I know. I'm afraid I'd have sex with everybody.
They
Just talk to
probably
me.
would not mind that.
Right here. Could you read me this book? I
Yes.
have an Aussie sub. When he flew in to see me, I made him sit and read to me.
I love that.
I'm like, just read to me.
What was it you said earlier? They deliver what you want, but in the way
I
they want to serve
deliver,
it.
I deliver what they want, but I serve it how I want to serve it.
Exactly that.
So, but he has this phenomenal accent. So, and all during chemo, he would call and talk to me when I was like trapped. He's like, I'm just calling so you could hear my, and I wish I could mimic the accent, but I can't. But he,
It's a
that
hard
was
one.
my cheer up while I would go. He would call and just talk to me.
Oh, it makes my heart so happy hearing that.
What a
Okay.
good sub. Okay.
I know, what a good sub. Okay, a book that you consider mandatory reading.
I don't know.
I know this one's hard.
No, because I don't ever refer books. I have all sorts of books, but I don't refer. I mean, because I'm always reading books on psychology,
Yeah.
or success or money, a lot of psychology books because of what I do.
Yeah.
So I don't have really one that I would, I can't answer that because I don't know one that I would refer. I'm sorry.
Well, even in those genres, is there one that's like, I don't know, that really affected you?
Probably a book that affected me a long time ago was, I think it's Dale Carnegie, The Seven Something to Success.
Oh
That,
yeah.
right. It's all about success. So you keep planted, and no matter whether you do sex work or you're in sales or whatever, there's the same steps that you need to do to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people say, oh, must be nice, you're lucky. I'm like, no.
Mm-mm.
I work hard. There's marketing, there's branding, there's advertising, there's learning about products, keeping up with your people, there's follow up. It's just not people showing up and I swing a whip.
Right. Exactly. There's so
Or,
much more.
right. Or even for an OnlyFans person or a stripper, they have to purchase clothing, they have to dance, they have to have music, they have to have routines, they have to be able to be working out so their body's perfect. And
Yep. And marketing still applies, and like keeping up with your people still apply. Yeah, it's people
right.
don't
So,
understand that it's actually work.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, what about an album or musical artist you've been grooving to lately?
Um, Machine Gun Kelly.
Yes. That checks out. Yeah.
He does a song with Eminem. It's called Bad Mother.
Oh my God, yes. I feel like I've heard that on the radio.
Bad Motherfucker is the song. And sometimes when somebody's not quite sure, once they're secured and they're not quite sure because I look so soccer mom like, they're worried that I can't pull off the discipline and what they want, then I will put that on. I'm like, yeah, here's my go-to song.
Yes. Like, get ready.
Uh-huh.
Amazing. And what is your favorite quality about yourself?
My favorite is probably my heart. It's probably too big. My heart is really big.
I can feel that from here. Yeah. Maybe not too big, but you have a very big heart.
My subs all know that I'm there for them, even if they're not doing a session. If they're struggling, I have people that take care of their parents or somebody ill. I will meet them for lunch when they need to get away. Do I get paid for it? Nope, not at all. How I get paid is that maybe one day it'll come back to me. And how it has come back to me. I use one guy that he's a single man that works and was taking care of his mom, his dad, and his aunt, as well as working. And one day I called him, I'm like, dude, we're going to go to lunch. just person to person. He said, I don't have time. I said, you have to make time. If you don't, you will snap. He said that was the best gift of all. He is one of the several people that checked on me, wanted to send me money. I didn't ask for any because I don't. When I was going through round and round of chemo, it's my kindness is my testament of what they did for me when I was off. So I think that's the best is my genuine heart, even though I have a naughty mouth sometimes.
Yes. That's one thing I think people don't understand about sex work is that it is relationship building.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's just like a really beautiful thing and a testament that your subs show up the way that they do. Because you show up for them.
Correct. And they all, when I used to travel, or even now, if there's bad weather, they all send me, I can't tell you how many send me weather alerts. Not sure if you're at the office or you're home, but there are tornado warnings out. Please be careful. Or when some of the protesting first started, please, like, where are you at? Be careful. Or the people that know where I travel to, please be careful. This is going on. Or there's a snowstorm coming, and they will track me. Not that they have GPS, but it is a level of care for their mistress. They don't want me hurt, just as I don't want anything to happen to them.
I love that.
So it's as weird as it would sound to maybe somebody outside the industry, because I think whether you're a dancer, an OnlyFans person, a companion, a dominatrix, if you're really good at what you do, you'll have those relationships.
Absolutely.
And they're strong. I mean, I've seen people for solid 7 years. That's longer than any dating relationship I've had.
Right. Oh my God, same. I'm just like, what?
Probably because they don't have to have any closet space.
Right. You take your toothbrush.
Right,
you take all that.
Right. There is no drawers for you. My boots have the whole closet.
Absolutely. A whole closet for boots is a dream of mine. So good. Out of curiosity, you are officially like cancer free and everything? Is that
no. Are we ever really?
Right, that's fair.
So mine is skin cancer.
Okay.
So the importance of a facial. I never treated myself to a facial, and I bought a series of 6 3 years ago, and I went for 2, these like I don't remember, there was some sort of scrubs to make your lighter, brighter, and all fancy.
Mm-hmm.
The third one, the first 2 were done by one person. The third one, the first lady had been in a car accident or something. And the woman said, hey, you have this little spot on your chest. How long has it been there? I'm like, oh, about 9 years. It comes and goes. She said, really? You ever have it looked at? I said, yeah, I was told it was eczema. It's no big deal. And she said, that's not eczema. And she went and got a doctor. Doctor came in, looked at it, said, we're doing a biopsy right now. I said, oh, no, I'm here for a facial. And she said, no, that's cancer. And if it's been there 9 years, we have to make sure it's not near lymph nodes. We need to know what kind it is. So they did a biopsy. 2 days later, they called, said, we're going to do surgery. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not like really ready for this. She said, do you want to die? I said, no. She goes, so you got to come in. So they did across my chest. They did 30 stitches, but you can't even see the scar.
Yeah, wow.
And then it kept coming back. So then after about a year, she's like, we got to start chemo. And I will not lie, I cried when she told me I had to have chemo. She asked if I felt sorry for myself. I said yes. So she introduced me to a 26-year-old woman who just came back from her honeymoon a week ago. Her skin cancer already got into her lymph nodes, and her diagnosis was she has 3 to 6 months to live.
Oh my God.
So I stopped crying and I said, my oncologist said, fight. It's not in your lymph nodes. So that was the first. They do 3rd-degree burns, like my face, neck, and chest. I thought I would be scarred for life. On the flip side, the good news is it's made me look younger because
Oh
it
my
burns
God.
your face off. And then when they told me I had to have it again, I'm like, that was like, and you can't cry because you have third-degree burns and your tears have salt. So you can't cry when there's pain, and you can't be near any sunlight. So all your blinds have to stay closed. You can't go anywhere because you're an open wound. So you have to stay at home and do nothing.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
did that in 2019 for 6 different times. I did 3 weeks and 3 weeks. In 2018, I did 12 weeks. And now they found a little spot on my ear. Now we're waiting for that. But I said, so now you got to take my ear off. And she goes, no, we have to do surgery. She goes, we can fix it. Don't worry. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. I just say, you should see the person that like I cut. I mean, it's not in my lymph nodes. So I try to be really positive because I believe the positive is what keeps you going. And it's not all from the sun, because people are like, well, you were a sun worshiper. I said, yes, but our world is full of pollutants. So some of mine is from the preservatives in food, because I didn't used to eat really healthy years ago. From the canned goods put metal. I believe you eat really healthy from what I watch.
I do indeed. I grew up in a hippie high school, and I went to a hippie college. So I used to have the attitude of like, well, we're gonna get cancer from everything. So like, because I was also a smoker for a while, so it was more of like a fuck it attitude, and now I'm just kind of like a everything in moderation sort of attitude.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I take each day, and I dread going every 3 months because it's like, what else are they going to find? But on the flip side, I check all my subs body. I'd be like, okay, you need to make yourself a doctor's appointment. This is what I found.
Oh, that's amazing.
You need to make an appointment right away. I found a mole that shouldn't be there. You need to, or this one's really grown. If you don't do an appointment, I won't see you no more. And they'll do appointments. So I've had several that have had removals, but they don't see their back, or they might not check.
Yeah.
Because I see them. So now, because I have to check every day, I look at everybody through the eyes of my doctor.
Yeah. You gotta go get that checked out. I love that. You have such a contagious, positive attitude. It's been really incredible to get to talk to you. I don't want to like overstep our hour.
Okay. I'm fine. This has been fun.
Yeah.
Doing this with you has been like, your energy is so good.
Oh,
Like so good.
I feel the very same. Like this has been, I came in super nervous, and I was like, I don't know, like, is she gonna like me? And then and you
Did
were just
really?
Oh yeah. I really appreciate the work that you do, and I'd love to know more, and I'd like to
Can
be
I tell you one more
friends.
story?
Please. I love stories.
So when I was at the Janet's dungeon about 6 weeks ago, this couple came in. They are in their 70s because she volunteered the information. She had a walker. He had a cane. And I said, first time in here? She's like, oh no, honey, we've been coming here for years. I said, awesome. She goes, he's my sub, and he's been such a good boy. I'm buying him a new collar. I said, how long have you been married? She goes, since we were in our early 20s, and we're in our late 70s now. I'm like, good for you. They have kept it real for all these years, even with her walker and him with his cane. Is that not awesome?
That makes my heart so happy. And that's when people are like, oh, you don't want to be doing this into your old age, or whatever people say, like into your 60s. And I'm just like, how do I know? What if I do? Like,
look at captivating Corey. She's 60, like 61, I think now.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like for me, it's building relationships, and I want to be building relationships my entire life. And so
Right.
who's to say I don't want to be doing this work
And you
into
can actually help people.
a lot of our job can be these like therapy sessions, and especially working with couples sometimes. It's like this is how you communicate. You kind of lead by example.
Correct.
Yeah.
This has been fun. And I'm
Yeah.
so flattered I was picked for first one.
Yes. I just I've been itching to get to talk to you. So this has been really wonderful. And I thank you so much for taking the time. And let's please hang out
Do
sometime.
lunch?
Yeah, I would love that.
Something healthy in moderation.
Yeah, all of the above.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you
Have a
so
great
much.
day.
You too. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye. So that was my interview with Domina Kat Morgan. I have put all of her links in the show notes, so you can find her on Twitter and Instagram, anywhere else that you might be able to find Domina Kat Morgan. If you want to support the show, I have created a Patreon, so you are welcome to support on Patreon, or just tell your friends about the show. Word of mouth is incredibly powerful, and I appreciate it all. I've also got my own stuff in the show notes in case you want to follow me. So I thank you so much. This is a journey, and I'm really grateful to have you all on it with me as listeners, and any feedback you have for me would be wildly valuable. So feel free to write in. The email for the podcast is sexygalaxypod@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter @sexygalaxypod. So, thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful day and have enjoyed this show. May the force be with you. Or nanu nanu. Or however we're going to sign off on this show. We'll figure that out. Live long and prosper.